The Kansas City Chiefs are gearing up to take on the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game, their 7th consecutive appearance in this round of the playoffs, and they already have a loss to the Bills this year. But guys, I think they already have a win over the Buffalo Bills too. We just have to go back a little bit further. In the article we are going to be looking at today, the highlight of the article in question is Xavier Worthy and whether Xavier Worthy was actually worth the trade from the Buffalo Bills. But guys, look, in the midst of the NFL draft, in the midst of training camp, in the midst of the early season, a lot of the draft order and sequence and drama gets washed away. I am here to tell you today that the other details of that trade are incredible for the Kansas City Chiefs. And if I were the Buffalo Bills, I don't think I would ever answer that call with Brett Veach of the Kansas City Chiefs again. So the article in question is titled, Xavier Worthy Trade Comes Under Microscope in Chiefs-Bills AFC Championship Game. Subtitled, Xavier Worthy Can Break Open the AFC Championship Game, from SBNation.com by Joseph Acosta, and it reads as such. It feels like everything that's happened in this season has led us to this moment in the AFC. Yeah, it really does. This is one of the least surprising seasons by the playoffs in the AFC that we've seen in quite some time. The NFC side of the bracket, very surprising. The AFC side, everything kind of went to plan, or at least to prognostication. It had to be this way, as if fate was pulling the two together on a collision course. Once again, the Buffalo Bills will face the Kansas City Chiefs with a shot to finally slay the giant. Most of the attention is going to be on both quarterbacks and play callers on both sidelines. Whichever team can defend the pass out of their base personnel the best might win this game. Whichever team cannot defend the pass out of their base personnel best might win this game. If you are a writer, never make statements like this. Very, very boring to read. But I'm going to focus on the one player whose role has increased since the last time these two played. Chiefs rookie wideout, Xavier Worthy. Yes, the Xavier Worthy that the Chiefs traded up with the Bills to get. Worthy and Bills rookie wideout Keon Coleman will be forever linked because of the draft day trade between the two franchises. But both, and guys, I promise you, this is going to get so wild when we get into the details of the trade. But both serve a distinct purpose in their respective offenses. Worthy's usage has been interesting to me. Since week 13, there hasn't been a game that he hasn't gotten under 80% of the snaps. Hasn't been a game he hasn't gotten under. You got to make declarative sentences, guys. Minus the week 18 Carson Wentz masterclass. And in that same stretch, he's second on the team in targets and first in receptions and yards. Oh, and he's caught 2 touchdowns during that time. What's really got me going about Worthy's usage is that he's not only used as fast man go far in this offense, he's being used as a weapon laterally instead of vertically. His average depth of target of 5.7 yards is the same as tight end Noah Gray. That's good work. Getting those stats like that, that's good work. But his 225 yards after contact in that time period leads the team. Compare that to his weeks 1 through 12, where his ADOT was 12.7, but he only had 188 yards after the catch. This is good work. What Worthy is doing is becoming the explosive option underneath for quarterback Patrick Mahomes, and it's helped his game blossom as well. The Chiefs this year essentially running the most modern West Coast offense in the NFL. So much peppering of the edges of the defense with crossing routes, screens, and now throws. And Worthy is the linchpin of that underneath. He's been the target on so many of those quick flips out to the edge that Mahomes will throw if he doesn't like the box count on a run, and Worthy can take it for an easy 6 yards. Later in the article, this statement is made. The Chiefs traded up to the Bills the Chiefs traded up to the Bills pick to select Worthy at number 28 overall in the 2024 draft, and also got a 4th rounder out of the deal. Those aren't the entire terms. The Bills traded back to get number 32, drafted Coleman, and traded a 3rd and a 7th round pick. Buffalo's pass defense is going to need to be strong in their communication and rules when faced with these stacks and motions that Kansas City is going to throw at them. It's the Chiefs' way of gaining information and leverage on their opponents while putting defenders' minds in a blender. Worthy is going to be a critical part of this and might be the difference between another Super Bowl appearance or an early trip to Cabo. In my opinion, basically, the summary of this article, the spirit of this article, is that, guys, Buffalo may have traded Kansas City the tool to beat Buffalo. Buffalo may have traded Kansas City the speedy wideout that they needed to ensure that they could beat the Buffalo Bills this season. It might be Xavier Worthy might be the very tool that allows the Kansas City Chiefs to sneak past the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game on the way to another Super Bowl. And I realized as I was reading this article that what I have done next is I have put together the players that the Kansas City Chiefs acquired in that trade, and then the players that the Buffalo Bills acquired in that trade. I'm going to zoom past the players the Kansas City Chiefs acquired in that trade because I want... So, don't look at that. It's like Christmas morning. Don't look at that. So, here are the numbers involved. The Kansas City Chiefs received picks 28, 133, and 248, while the Buffalo Bills received picks 32, 95, and 221. If you are especially astute and remember what picks the Kansas City Chiefs made and when, you will already see the boon associated with this trade. But I'm going to zoom past this real quick. Don't read those names. Here's what the Bills got. The Bills got Keon Coleman, a guy who I thought at the time was the 2nd best receiver in the draft. I'm still not sold that he isn't. I think that he can be a real difference maker in the NFL. This season, he has 12 starts, 57 targets, 29 receptions. A 50.9% catch percentage is not great. But 556 yards, 4 touchdowns, he's made some really impressive plays. Keon Coleman, in my opinion, is a part of the future for the Buffalo Bills. Picking him up at pick 33, that's not 32, mind you. The Bills traded back to 32 with the Kansas City Chiefs, and then traded one spot lower with the Panthers and picked up another draft pick there. Or I think they toggled draft picks. They didn't pick up another one, but traded a pair of draft picks for a pair of draft picks. And not a bad rookie season. Had 1 carry for 9 yards. That's basically what Rashee Rice did last year in the carries department. So they figured that out pretty quick. And then their 3rd round pick 95, was Dwayne Carter, a defensive tackle who has appeared in 11 games. He's got 3 starts. He has made 14 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 3 QB hits. So not a whole lot of playing time, but a decent amount of impact and impact plays on that playing time. Now, I believe he has played something like 315 snaps. But not great productivity. But with defensive tackles, it's hard to kind of tell exactly what their role is in that defense. I'm not close enough to that team to really understand how much of an impact Dwayne Carter has really had. But when you're looking at the raw numbers, 5 tackles for loss on 14 tackles, That's pretty good stuff. 3 QB hits thrown in as well. The 7th round pick that the Chiefs traded did not go so well for the Buffalo Bills, at least not yet. Pick 221 was Travis Clayton, an offensive tackle who has been on IR since August 27th. So you had a pretty good rookie season for a wide receiver, big-bodied 6'4", 217 wide receiver in Keough Coleman. And you had a showing, maybe not the most impressive showing, but a showing for a defensive tackle with some promise in the 3rd round. The Kansas City Chiefs got Xavier Worthy, Jaden Hicks, and CJ Hansen out of this trade. Xavier Worthy, 13 starts, 98 targets, 59 receptions, a 638 receiving yards on the season, 6 touchdowns, a 60.2 catch percentage. So the guy that they said was going to drop everything versus 50.9 on Keough Coleman. Xavier Worthy, 556 to, so basically, what is that? 80 yards more receiving, 2 more receiving touchdowns. And then we have basically everything that Xavier Worthy did in the rushing game. Keough Coleman had 9 yards. Xavier Worthy had 104 and 3 touchdowns. Then Jaden Hicks, who, look, I'm not going to say that appearing in 17 games with 1 start is all that impressive. I do not know the exact number on the snap count for Jaden Hicks this season. Not a great big number. He didn't play a whole lot until very late in the season. He's already got 3 interceptions. He's got 29 tackles, 3 tackles for loss. He is, I think we would all agree, undersold by these numbers. The impact that he is having in the postseason, the impact that he was starting to have at the tail end of the regular season, very, very underrepresented by the numbers here because he is coming on as a playmaker for the defense. 5 pass deflections, 3 interceptions, 29 tackles, 3 tackles for loss. The guy is all over the field. And then CJ Hansen, who has no stats, as he is an offensive lineman, no stats on this website here, but played 31 snaps in the final game of the season. 248 overall. The fact that he made the team is fairly impressive for that part of the NFL draft. I think the fact that he made the team suggests that he is ahead of schedule with where the team wants him. That the team ended up keeping 10 offensive linemen this season. I kind of very highly doubt that that was in the plans before the year. CJ Hansen is a guy that I think has some upside at offensive tackle. Should he be able to progress in that fashion, I think he has upside at offensive tackle. I think that the realistic upside for CJ Hansen is that he is a Joe Thuney-like offensive guard. Not saying that the realistic upside is that he is Joe Thuney, but he is an athletic, fleet-footed offensive guard who needs to put on a few pounds, but I think probably has a legitimate future in the NFL. So the Kansas City Chiefs in this trade may have added the element needed to beat the Buffalo Bills in Xavier Worthy. They may have added their next superstar safety in Jaden Hicks, and they may have gotten, I think worst case scenario, CJ Hansen long-term as a backup offensive lineman. I think worst case scenario, you're looking at a guy who is the next Nick Allegretti, the next Mike Caliendo. That is the bottom line for CJ Hansen. Then they traded away a chance at Keough Coleman, who ended up having a good rookie year, Dwayne Carter, who has some promise, and Travis Clayton, who has not seen the field since he was drafted, hitting the IR before the regular season even kicked off. This trade for the Kansas City Chiefs is looking better and better by the day. And should the Kansas City Chiefs advance to the Super Bowl on the back of this trade, that is another dagger in the heart of the Buffalo Bills. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Kansas City Chiefs are the only thing that I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. We're approaching 2 consecutive years of daily uploads, and I hope to have you back for the next one.